one hurts.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. Like I remember like getting used to some workouts and then like going to a gym in Denver and just being like, I'm not gonna do what any of these people are doing. And like I just like I'm gonna look silly. And I did look silly. And it was like flopping like a fish on the wall.
Welcome to Muscle Moments. A few years ago, I couldn't wipe my own ass, get in a shower, or walk myself into a store. Multiple surgeries had taken me apart, and what got me back wasn't a diet, it was strength I'd already built. I'm your host, Dana Wildeboer, and I am obsessed with helping people become the strongest, most capable versions of themselves. I've been an athlete my whole life, and I spent decades working my way to the C-suite in corporate. Those two things, coupled with my own health journey, proved to me that strength is the one thing that impacts everything. Your energy, your confidence, your independence, how you age, and how you show up. That's why I coach the way I coach, and the reason I started this podcast. But now that we're into it, I can't wait for you to hear why people who focus on strength and movement as a pillar of their life love it so much, and how it helps them break through their stories and achieve their dreams. It's raw, gritty, and unfiltered. I'm done watching people settle for small when what saves your life is strong. I'm singing it from the rooftops starting now. This is Muscle Moments. Let's get into it. Welcome, team, to Muscle Moments. Today's guest spends his days turning chaos into order, the person organizations call when they need to scale, adapt, and actually execute the big idea. Off the clock, he's under the bar, into wine, and chasing a puppy around his Connecticut property. Welcome, Rudy Rubio. Rudy is an operator, builder, and problem solver who has spent his career helping organizations scale, adapt, and execute big ideas across startups, education technology, and nonprofits. There is a particular talent for stepping into ambiguity and creating structure. He joins us from Northwest Connecticut, where he lives with his husband and spends his free time lifting weights, learning about wine, and tackling whatever project his property and his puppy throw at him on a daily basis. I know you'll love this conversation with someone who builds structure for a living and trains hard for the love of it. Welcome to Muscle Moments, Rudy. How did I do with that intro? Did I miss anything?
No, no, I thought you did a fantastic job. Thanks so much for having me, Dana.
Thanks.
Unfortunately, which can be boiled down into 30 seconds. So
But what a big life for a 30-second introduction. I mean, let's be real, and we will get that a little bit here. But as I am unable to make strength sexy, I'd love to hear from you. What's your definition of strength?
oh man, wasn't prepared for that question, oddly enough, for a podcast about strength. But I guess being able to confront challenges honestly with the resources that you have available to you. I think I might have answered that question very differently 10, 15 years ago and put it into the strength and fitness box. But today, with a few more years under my belt, I really think about the strongest moments being those that are tied more directly to the emotional parts of my life, those most vulnerable parts of my life, those areas where I've been able to be my most honest self. And those aren't always at the gym. So strength for me certainly sits outside of just barbells and exercises.
So I actually argue, as you know, because we've had this conversation a bunch, that what you learn in the gym actually teaches you what you're capable of in regular life. Do you think you connect those dots in your life? And if so, where does it show up?
Yeah, 100%. I would say with certainty that I'm a more confident person today because I've integrated going to the gym more regularly in my life. And that confidence, I want to clarify, is not going to the beach and taking my shirt off. There's still a lot to learn just about that small move. But the way that I show up in my relationship with other people at work are all born out of what I've learned about myself at the gym.
I mean, please let be true. I mean, give me the tweet, but
I mean, I'll share just right off the bat that I was not an athletic kid. I had asthma as a kid. I was a little bit sheltered. I grew up in Texas where football and baseball were the sports that people played, and I wasn't interested in either of those. And I wasn't interested in being out in 100-degree weather doing any of that stuff. I would much rather have been inside reading or drawing or writing something. And so for me, even getting myself into a place where I was comfortable doing anything physical, exercising, being at the gym, and especially doing that in front of other people was so foreign to me. I think I've shared with you before, there have been a few times in my life where I've just done a hard reset, like gone through a breakup, switched a job, moved to a different city or apartment, sold everything. And not all of that was intentional, but the one consistency was the routine that I had with the gym.
Mhm.
And in a lot of ways, it grounded me. And that was a learning for me. I think at the time, it was a way for me to find discipline at a time where it was easy to lose that. But it became an opportunity for me to retreat a little bit into myself, to learn a little bit more about myself, not necessarily related to working out, but again, just absorb what was going on in my life and have a safe space to do that.
Yeah, just like a safe place to be with yourself and
Yeah.
your brain. And honestly, it can be very intimidating when you first start going, but tell me that's not what everybody else is doing when they're there.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's what you keep doing. And I can talk a little bit more about this, right? But one of the ways that I stay engaged is by bringing not necessarily consistency, but consistent ability or constant variability in what I'm doing at the gym in order to stay entertained, essentially. I mean, that's what I'm doing, right? I'm showing up to entertain
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
And every time that I'm doing something new, there's always that fear of doing it in front of everyone, right? You're not necessarily on a stage, but I mean, shit, they put barbells up on some stages, right? So, like, you really are exposed in a way that you might not be in any other place in your life.
Totally. So, in your career, we laughed about this a few minutes ago, tech, startup culture, nonprofits as well, because not usually the most resourced organizations. I mean, across the board, right? Like
Mhm.
startups are eventually going to get the money. Nonprofits, they're going to get money, but it's different. But both tend to be under-resourced and a little bit of chaotic.
Yeah.
So, your role is to bring structure out of ambiguity for a living. What does lifting provide for you? Does it like give you that counterbalance because you're like, this is linear, I know I'm going to progress? Or does it give you the break from the chaos to explore that more creative side of yourself?
I would say more of the latter. My brain wants to run to that part where working out is structured. And because I have a particular workout that I do until I change it, right? But I show up, I know exactly what's expected of me, I know exactly where I'm supposed to go.
Oh,
And I'll do some other CrossFit thing. Cardio is integrated into all of that. And then this is the very much type A, but I also have scaled down workouts for when I'm traveling and then workouts when
or
I
you
don't
just
have
still feel
weights.
good, right? You just
Right.
feel
Gives me a space to do something that is outside of that bringing order to ambiguity and chaos. I would argue that showing up at the gym for me every day is seeded with ambiguity and a little bit of chaos because
mm,
the person I am at the gym today may not be the same person I was yesterday. I could be more tired. I could be in a bad mood. I could be in a great mood. I could have a lot on my mind. I may be doing something new and different, or I may just not feel as strong, right? Nothing may have changed materially about me, but just my mindset is fundamentally different. And I just don't feel like working out, but I know that I'll feel better afterwards. And all of those things for me are elements that I do have to bring together and put in order for me to perform the way that I know will result in me feeling good at the end of the day, like once I step out of the gym. I also have to say that's not always true. Like I do not have control over that all of the time. If I'm distracted, if I feel weak, if I'm just to work out, I can still leave the gym and not feel great about it and recognize it and then try again the next day.
But follow-up question here, is it that you don't feel great about it because you know you didn't live up to your potential, but yet you still feel better? Like you're like, ugh, that wasn't a good workout, but I still feel better. Or is it something else?
It's usually that it could have been a better workout, but it also is, and I don't know if this is the headspace part of it, but that like I think I was hoping for more out of my workout, that it would pump me full of endorphins and dopamine, and like I would suddenly like everything would be rosier once I left the gym. And like at the end of the day, it's like, look, this is a moment in my life that is an opportunity to separate from all of that. I didn't do myself justice by giving myself the right mindset to go in. That was disappointing, but also I'm stepping back into it, right? And like I didn't even give myself the kind of relief that I wanted. Bad workouts are different. I mean, I've had bad workouts and been with friends and still had just a terrific time, or like not perform the way that I wanted to. I would say post COVID, I've given all of that up. I mean, you know this, but and I know that people measure all aspects of their workouts. Some people do, and CrossFit really encourages you to do that with, you know, obviously personal records and, you know, as many
Yeah.
reps as possible and all these
In
things
that every day.
in the app every single day, right? And you see how you measure up, not just to your previous workouts, but to other people on that day, like across the world, whatever it is. I've had to give some of that up in order to bring the type of peace into my workouts that I really need to perform better. I have found sometimes, or I've found that showing up and putting pressure on myself to do better than the person next to me, especially when I knew that they were stronger than me, took something away
Mm.
from my experience. And as much as I loved the many years that I was in CrossFit, leaving CrossFit did wonders for how I showed up differently and what types of workouts I accepted as part of like the strength that I wanted to build for myself. Rock climbing became really big for me during COVID, especially anything outdoors. And had I not left something as regimented as CrossFit and community focused as CrossFit, I don't think that I would have done as much of that as I had.
Yeah, because you just like knew that that movement in a group setting, like at the highest level, that made you feel good. That fed your soul.
Yeah, at that time it did. Yeah, absolutely.
Follow-up question on bad workouts. So a lot of people, especially people who are really new going to the gym, right? It's like day one was great, but day two I was really confused and I kind of feel stupid at the end of this workout.
Yeah.
So it's a bad workout. And then they
Yeah.
don't go back. What keeps you going back? Or how do you get
Um,
over that? And that workout was shit. I should never go back, but you go back and do it anyway.
so there are a couple ways that I might define a bad workout for myself. The first is um I I didn't have the right mindset, right? That's an easy one for me to get over because like I just accept that every day is going to be a little bit different than the last.
Yeah.
And so going in and trying to be in a better mood is great. Like that's one thing, right? It's just that like I am trying to change my mindset. I will do the same workout and be better about it. The second is if I didn't enjoy a workout because of the movements, I just don't do that anymore. Right? Like a bad workout could just be like, that wasn't fun. I don't like rope climbing, right? I don't like doing handstand push-ups or whatever
I am
bullshit you're trying
so
to get
that
me
person. I'm like,
to.
no, I don't like that
Right.
movement.
Like I
No,
remember,
that one hurts.
yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. Like I remember like getting used to some workouts and then like going to a gym in Denver and just being like, I'm not gonna do what any of these people are doing. And like I just like I'm gonna look silly. And I did look silly. And it was like flopping like a fish on the wall trying to do these stupid things. Anyway, it's not that I will give up if I'm bad at it. That's not what I'm saying. But there are things that I know are wrong for my body. And some of it like you learn a little bit later.
Yeah.
The last type of workout is like the worst thing for me and the hardest for me to get over, which is this comparative workout. So, you know, no one's going to know this, but like the other day I did this standard workout and I texted you right afterwards and I was like, oh, look, like here's my time doing this workout. I haven't done this
Yeah.
workout in like a year and a half or whatever it was. And I felt really good about it. And then I made the mistake of looking up like what a standard time for this should be because I was like, given my age and like how long I've been out of, you know, this particular gym and all of this stuff. And it was like beginners would totally be, you know, this between this time and this time. And like that's where my time fell. And I was like, I'm not a beginner and I didn't feel like a beginner while I was doing it. And it robbed me of that joy that I
Oh, I'm
felt.
sorry.
Yeah, it was like so lame and I did it to myself. No one said anything to me, right? Like, and no one would have.
And that was just that little part of your brain that
Yeah,
was being like, go compete, go compete.
yeah. And
Oh,
and it
so we got
was
to work on that volume.
because I know that it exists, right? I know that there are times out there there's enough data that you can take an average of what like people with different experiences would have. And I compared myself to it.
Yeah.
And I've gotten over it, right? And I will do the workout again. It's now motivating. But to the question about like how I got over it, I didn't. It was just time, right? Like because I wasn't going to do that workout again anytime soon. And so I just had to like work myself through I guess I had to reason with myself why that was my time, but like more importantly, just like accept that I did my best and that's what it produced and
Yeah.
that I should feel good about it.
Yeah. Because you did it, right?
Because I
And
did it. Yeah. And like I
something
had to
like
remind myself,
90% of Americans don't even get baseline movement in.
yeah,
So if you need to compete, I guess you're like, hey, I'm top 10% in the movement category. I did it.
sure.
Fucking showed up.
Yeah, exactly. Like I showed up, I was happy when I did it. The one thing that I took away from it, and I firmly believe this in my life, right? And this is again one of the products of going to the gym is that I can change the result. This is not the last time that I can
Mm,
do this. These weights, this information is not going away. This is not a one and done thing. If I really care about shaving off time from whatever my last record was, it's entirely possible. I just have to do different things, right? And if I
you just have to
don't,
do the work,
yeah,
right?
you have to do the work. And if I don't do it, then be okay with whatever the result is. So, that
And
one
that is a
took a
life
little bit.
lesson. It's like that's the life lesson. Like if you're not willing to do the work, you sure
Totally.
you can be upset about the result or the outcome, but like really, let's look at what happened here.
Yes, there's no one for me to blame,
Yeah.
right? But myself. No one is preventing me from putting the work in. No one's telling me anything differently. I mean, at some point you could have said you didn't have the information available in order to do it. That's not true
Yeah.
anymore. I do
Yeah.
think, in terms of getting the right diet, for example, like that is probably the most prohibitive for a lot of people because it can be expensive, but I do think there are workarounds for that. So there is always something. I will say it's not like it's 100% of the elements are not within everyone's control. I accept that, but I do believe that if you're unhappy with something, you can change it.
Yeah. You brought up nutrition. It is a pillar. It's a pillar in my philosophy. I think it's a pillar in everyone's philosophy, from the doctors to masseuses to
Mhm.
strength coaches around the board. What we put in fuels our body. So, how do you fuel your body?
Oh, probably with like margaritas and tacos. And I mean, it's so bad.
So how about you're a whole human, right? Like that's part of what we're trying to show here. Like you can go to the gym and still enjoy margaritas and tacos, right?
Well, I probably go to the gym in order to enjoy those things. And
Outrun a
there's one thing that I'll
412.
say. So like maybe 10, 15 years ago, I started this thing where I was like, okay, this is in my 20s, right? Like everyone, well, I drank a lot in my 20s and, definitely had some messy moments. And at some point was like, I really need to stop, but I'm gonna just go for like a week or maybe not a week, but like a few weeks or something like that. And
February.
so it became like,
Yeah.
dry January or
Yeah.
whatever it was. It has become that I do a dry month every quarter. And that is a way for me, one, to rest it. I'm not drinking heavily most of the time, but I can just say no. And I have a really good reason that has fed me a lot more than alcohol would. And it's not like I go overboard when I'm out of my dry months necessarily, but it's just a good reminder that this is possible, right? Like I can do whatever I want if I just say no or that I want something different. But I will say that it was a lot easier to manage my nutrition when I wasn't married, because my husband does all of the cooking and
Uh, he's such a
you
good
know,
cook, though.
he's such a good cook and he's a tall guy that like burns weight by just waking up and breathing. And it's unfair, but that's what it is. And I'm much happier eating meals that he cooks. I'm having a six pack or whatever. So
I mean, I agree with you on that comment about preferring the food over the six pack. Like, it just as I have gotten older, also my proclivities and my passion for fitness and strength training became much stronger as I was getting into my 30s and now into my 40s. Fueling for that became more important than drinking did.
and I was also like raised in a family where we break bread and we share drinks and like that's
Yeah.
where we build community. And my
Everything
family is,
happens around food.
yeah, everything happens around food, 100%. And any meal, anytime we went out for a meal, this was something my husband learned about my family. There's always like 10 or 12 people who just show up. Like it's just where we gather.
Love that.
So yeah, it's a happy space.
It is a happy space. Let's keep it happy. And there are ways to keep it happy, right? You just
Yeah.
want to get curious about it, in my
Yeah.
experience, right?
Yeah.
Speaking about your husband, what would he say is your most annoying superpower?
I probably quite a few. I think the one that he would say can be a little bit annoying is that I've got a bullshit meter and I tend to call people out on it and he thinks that I can be pretty unfriendly when I do it, so I've had to be a lot nicer and more patient with people and like demonstrate that I'm listening to them. But if I am not interested, if I think someone is, trying to peddle snake oil to me or something like that, I'm just like immediately done with them. I should give people more opportunities. That's not a great thing. I wouldn't say it's a strength, but like in business, it can certainly be useful. And certainly avoiding, some of the bullshit that on all the scams that like people are trying to throw our way now. It's become a superpower. I can probably just be nicer about it.
Just say no, thank
No,
you.
thank you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Please leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, when we
Okay,
go out and people want to talk to him and they're not being rude or anything, but I'm like, we're on a date. Like, go away. Go away. Like, I don't, why do you,
please.
yeah, why are you, yes, please. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Go away, please. There, good. Practice.
So, what I hear from you is that fitness has its non-negotiable place in your life,
Yeah.
and you might not make 4 workouts a week, but fitness is a part of your life and it
Yeah.
is ingrained. So, you worked toward that, as you said. How does someone make fitness a non-negotiable for themselves without it feeling obsessive or restrictive?
I mean, I'll share what I have done and then just recognize that, it can be different for different people. Like for me, I would always tell myself, like, you just show up, right? Just go, schedule it. It's easy in a group setting because there is that accountability built into it. Without that, it becomes a little bit more difficult. And so for me, it was a matter of making it a habit. So going a few times a week. And when I couldn't, but I wanted to work out, finding alternatives, right? So that it didn't become binary in the sense that workouts were only associated with the gym and only associated with these weights or these exercises, but I could do them at home. I could do it outside. I could go
Yep,
for a run.
yep.
Um, the other part of it, just because you asked like how you make that possible, for me, it was like building my repertoire of movement because if you don't have an unlimited toolbox, it's going to feel like you can't do anything if the gym is
Or it's
closed.
going to get boring real
It's going to
fast.
get boring super fast, right?
Yeah.
Um, but there's like a lot that you can do, and there are a lot of movements that seem pretty simple that are often way better. Just going for a walk, right? Or
Mhm.
like 30 minutes going for a walk. I'll do burpees, which are terrible, but they're great at increasing your heart rate. They're easy
Oh,
to
yeah.
do in a small space. Push-ups, sit-ups, all those kinds of things, right? And I would say if those get boring, there is a way to challenge yourself and do more complicated versions of everything, simpler and more complicated versions of every exercise. And so even if all you did was push-ups, for example, there's enough variety even within that that you could mix it up in
Oh, for
a
sure.
small
You could do a
space.
half push up. If you're in a hotel room, you could do it to the desk or even the bed and then like just increase your reps along the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, for me it was, finding this like unlimited space. That's where the creativity is like what do I want to mix up? Like how can I do this? Um, Work travel really forced me to think about that
Mhm.
more concretely than anything else.
So work travel, I definitely have lots of members in my community. We are power professionals,
Yep, that's
and when
right.
we travel, we kind of let it go to the wayside. I always used group fitness classes, dropping
Hmm.
into the local Orange Theory or the local CrossFit gym.
Yep.
Because, like,
It's easy.
fitness for me is very social, and that just makes it easy. Just like find
Yep.
it, know where I'm Ubering, get it in my schedule, block it out. But you seem to approach it from more of like maintaining control about what you're doing versus going to doing one of those classes.
Yeah, and realistically, going to one of those classes became disruptive. It did pull me away from things that I needed to be at. You have to plan around it, right? So, in some cases, a 6 o'clock PM class was just like not going to cut it, right? And travel there and travel back, and you pay whatever you pay. And so I had to find things that I could do in my hotel room or in the small gym, whatever it was, and be happy with it.
How do you keep yourself motivated when you're traveling? Let's be real, the late night team dinner leads to a few drinks.
Yeah, I
That's
would.
where people kind of throw away the fitness, right? That's where it kind of drifts off to.
Yeah, it's easy. I would say it's a little bit of a balance between like a carrot and a stick method. There are days where if I don't work out when I thought that I would, I feel bad about it. And
Mhm.
sometimes that's motivation enough to go the next day. But what's better for me is giving myself permission to do something like, if I want to have a burger in the evening, maybe I'll work out in the morning or something like that. And I may change my mind about what I eat, but I think just giving myself a carrot, I mean, like a metaphorical carrot to be like, you should work out, and it kind of gives you permission to be,
The
this
human.
person or whatever. Yeah, later in the evening. Are those fail proof? No, like absolutely not. Like, I'm human and like
Yeah.
it is what it is. I will say that, traveling with my husband can be motivating just like and demotivating. Like if he doesn't feel like going to the gym, I really have to work extra hard to just be like, I'm going to go by myself, which is fine. But if he wants to go, it's a lot easier for me to say yes and like just show up and do it. Probably the easiest thing for me when I go to if I'm in a hotel, and I know there's a gym, is just like go find it right away. Because the one thing that closes the door on going to work out is like, I have no idea where it is in the hotel. And I'm not going to bother with it. I'm not going to pick up the phone and ask. I'm not going to look at a map. And they always put it on a weird floor. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, just
Back in
finding
some
it is
corner
like,
somewhere.
yeah, because then you automatically build it into your calculus of like, it's a minute away from this, from my room or whatever. Or you go look at it and you're like, there's some weights here and that's it. And like, I know exactly what I can do. Like, this is the workout that I have in mind. It would take me 10, 15 minutes to do it. The more information you have about what resources available, it's way easier to plan and then motivate yourself and get excited about something as opposed to just showing up and being like, I've just spent 15 minutes figuring it out. That's not exciting. Figuring it out is not exciting. So, doing that ahead of time will save
It's just
you
like it's
like
like
the
the mental
trouble.
checklist, right? It like takes the
Yeah.
load off of I want to do this workout. Do they even have the equipment? Because when you get to a hotel, you're in figure it out space,
Yeah.
right? Like gotta get to my room, gotta get on the Wi-Fi, whatever, whatever. Like just make this
Yeah.
other gotta get it done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what I love about everything you've been sharing with us is that fitness has like given you the foundation to be a full human, right? And it helps
Yeah.
you feel better when maybe you're not feeling good. And even the days that it doesn't make you feel better, you've built the resilience through fitness to be like, I know it will get better and I'm in complete control of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what I would love for you to share is your muscle moment, a lesson, something you learned through fitness, but it's bigger than what you actually lifted.
There's one lesson in particular where I was learning how to do like a power clean, right? So I'm moving a bar from the floor to, what would be kind of like my shoulder space, right? And you're holding it. And as you get heavier with it, there's a lot more trust you have to put in yourself, but a lot more control that you have to exhibit in order to make sure that the bar goes exactly where you want it to. And in this particular instance, I put on too much weight. I was learning, and the bar somehow, well, because like I wasn't managing it appropriately, like slipped out of my hand and like hit my knee. And my knee was okay, but there was like just like a massive piece of like skin missing. So that was unpleasant, right? Like that was awful. There were two things. One, I didn't let it control my interest in that movement, right? So I didn't say, I don't want to be hurt anymore, or I can't do this, or I'm unable to learn this. Like I'm an idiot. I'll never figure this out. I just knew that I did something wrong because I had a really great mentor, like a fantastic instructor. I had practiced with it, right? What I needed to exhibit then was patience. I really had to be patient with myself in practicing. And I'm much better at it today, but it would have been really easy for me to give up then. The other thing is, particularly with working out, and this is not my way of saying like that you have to be a control freak and like everything has to be in order all the time, but if it's within your control and it benefits you to control it, like you should do your best effort, right, to put everything in to eliminate as much ambiguity as possible. For me, right, like I think, I mean, I can't recollect everything, but I'm pretty sure I just had faith that the bar was going to move and I probably was not holding it correctly and didn't really think I was going to be hurt. And like I was very wrong about very, very wrong. And had I really made sure that I had good form, that like every part of my body was tight where it was supposed to be, that I had a full grip on the bar, whatever, right? Even if like the bar didn't make it all the way up where it was supposed to be, it probably wouldn't have landed on my knee. And I would have had a very different lesson come out of it. But for me, it's like you can't just like let stuff slip. Like this is where I was saying like
Yeah.
I'm not the same person at the gym every day. Just because I did well yesterday doesn't mean I'm going to do well today or that my form is guaranteed to be perfect. Like you still
Yeah.
have to try.
Yeah.
And I have to think about that because like in that moment I had a real injury as a result of not giving it my best.
Yeah. So check those boxes,
Check
right?
the boxes. Yeah.
I have a secret question for you. I have it to take a page out of Stephen Bartlett's book from Diary of a CEO, and I am having every guest leave a question for the next guest.
Okay.
So the guest that was before you wants to know, what's your favorite cheat meal?
Oh, my favorite cheat meal. Okay, so I like sweets, but my favorite cheat meal is not sweet at all. I really love Mexican food, and just like a huge burrito is like an easy cheat meal for me
I
because
mean,
I could
that is a cheat meal. Like burritos can have like a
buy
Thanksgiving dinner
itself.
and a tortilla.
Yes, 100%. I can make it at home. I can buy a better one than I can make at home most likely. They're accessible everywhere. They're usually not very expensive.
No.
And the most important thing for me, I feel so satisfied after eating it. I have zero regrets about eating it. It's so hard. Well, it's not hard, but like if you make a bad
Zero regrets
burrito, you
about that
should not
burrito.
be in business. So like it's so easy to find good burritos everywhere. How can you fuck this up, right? So like if I want a
You're
cheat meal,
also from Texas, okay? So
yes, yes, yeah.
how are the burritos in Connecticut? I mean, really?
Actually, there are a lot of Hispanic people in Cleveland,
Okay,
so
so they're bangings when
they're
I
they're pretty
like
good.
in.
Yeah. I don't actually use cheat meals. It's like
Okay.
that doesn't exist in my life
It's a food
anymore.
yours then.
It's just a favorite food of mine. It might fit into that scenario I described where I've worked out. If we happen to go eat Mexican, like that's what I'll order. I'm not at the place in my life right now where I'm restricting myself a lot. It doesn't mean I'm having dessert every day or ice cream for breakfast or something like that. I want to be able to enjoy the days that I have.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm
absolutely.
not, I'm not, I'm not doing cheat meals. I'm not counting calories. So maybe unfortunately for me, but not
Right.
happening.
Any questions I didn't ask you wish I had? Any practical advice you want to leave for the
For
people?
people listening, I mean everything with a grain of salt, right? Not just your food, but like everything that I've said, right? Just like Whatever I've shared, I know works for me. I have friends who are way more disciplined, train way harder than I do, completely different circumstances. And I know that some of the advice that they have given me just does not work for my life at all. Doesn't work for my lifestyle, doesn't work for my interests or the things that motivate me, like you kept asking. The only thing that I would say, like, if you take one thing, is like just try and find the thing that you like doing, that you love doing. And that may be a lot of trial and error. But once you find it, just like lean into it and fitness will come way more naturally.
Yes, I love that because there are so many ways to achieve being the strongest, healthiest, most capable version of yourself.
Yep.
Rudy, loved having this conversation with you. Thank you so much. I'm not going to tell the people where to find you, but I will
yeah, exactly. There's the real friendly part of me. Don't find me on social media. Please don't.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me, Dana. This is amazing.
Hey friends, thanks for listening to this episode of Muscle Moments. I hope you enjoyed it. This is just your quick reminder that any advice or information that has been shared on this episode is for entertainment purposes only. This is not medical advice from a healthcare provider. These are conversations with me and my friends about why strength is awesome. If you have questions about what your body is experiencing, make sure you find the coach or practitioner that's right for you. If you want to learn more about Will to Fit coaching, you can find the link in the bio.